Okay, so we are starting this chapter. Chapter number 8 is safety and security. And into this chapter, we are going to discuss regarding some physical safety issues. We are going to discuss regarding e-safety issues as well. E-safety issues means that they are concerned that while we are being connected to internet, so that we can protect each other data, our sensitive or important data is not stolen, and we are protected while we are using an internet. We are also going to discuss in this chapter some data security components that includes the threats to the data and how can we keep them protected. So let's start this. First of all, we are going to discuss regarding the physical safeties as well. Physical safety in turn means that if they are physical in existence, that means that if I specifically talk about electrical wires, circuit boards, so this is the place that we will be discussing here. Physical safety mostly refers to the health risks associated with that. Health risk means that while you are using your computer, your health should not be affected. You should not be becoming ill, or continuous usage of computer can lead to different problems, health problems as well. And some serious injuries could even lead to the loss of life as well. So this is what we are going to discuss here, starting with the first safety risk, that is electrocution. The causes for this safety risk is that if you have a spilled liquid or drinks onto an electrical equipment like charger, laptop, mobile, so that it can be a cause of electrocution. Exposed wires, damaged insulations can cause electric shocks as well. Unsafe electrical equipments and unsafe electronics wall sockets as well can cause this electrocution. Yeah, means that you are exposed to electricity. So this can lead a threat to your personal health as well. Some preventive measures, including that, is that we should not eat or drink into our computer room. We should check if all of the wires are properly placed and properly insulated. We should also be ensuring that all equipment is checked by an electrician and it has no loopholes into that, so that we can protect ourselves and make use of a residual current breaker. A residual current breaker basically balances the electrical current, and just in case if there is any electrical shock, what it do is that it turns the breaker off, that cuts down the electricity. So you can be saved from this electrocution. Electrocution basically means that you are exposed to electrical wires or electricity. The second example that's right here is a fire hazard, and fire might be erupted with while overloading wall sockets. Like for example, if you have a single socket and you have overloaded it with a lots of sockets at one place, your overheating of the computer due to poor heat ventilation or exposing wires that are caused by a short circuit. You can prevent fire hazard by increasing the number of sockets. Like for example, if you are plugging in your computer charger, your mobile charger, you should not be plugging them all at one place. You should also do not cover the cooling vents on the computer equipment as well. You should be cleaning out the dust as well. You should make sure that all equipments are properly tested on regular basis, and you should also be looking that there is a good room for ventilation as well. The third one is the tripping hazard. Tripping hazard basically means that trailing wires. Trailing wires means that wires that are spread it across your floors or damaged carpet or other flooring as well. You can protect yourself from tripping hazards by using cable ducts to make the wire safe, so that nothing is being interference into that wire, because you have that specific duct where all of your wires are placed. Your wires should be exposed with wires, and you should hide your wires from under the table, or where children and your family have no access to that. And you can also eliminate the risk of using wires by using wireless connectivity, so that you don't use wires. Fourth one is a personal injury. Personal injury could be falling heavy equipment from the desk, or a desk being collapsed, so that you can protect them by using desks that are strong enough to take the weight of the computer. And even you can use larger desk and table as well so that your hardware might not fall off. So do you have any query still here? 8.1. Now, beta, in 8.2, this mostly refers to the e-safety data protection and laws and data protection laws. Some rules are that, first of all, your data must be fairly and lawfully processed. For example, if you send me some data, I should be fair. I should only be using it fairly, and I should only be lawfully processing it. I should not use it unfair. I should not unlawfully process that data into any other activity or somewhere else. I should only process that data for that purpose for which it is intended for. That data should be adequate, relevant, and you should not be providing me the not excessive data as well. It should just be that what I still wanted. Your data should be accurate. Your data should not be kept longer than necessary. Data must be processed in accordance with the data subject's rights. Data must be kept secured. Data must not be transferred to another country unless they have their adequate protection. For example, you are my student and you have provided me your personal information. So I should not be using that personal information of yours unlawfully. I should not be able to process that unlawfully. For example, if I want to store your registration, I should first be stating you that I will be storing your information for this purpose. For the purpose that you have sent me the data, it should be only for that. I should only be used that for that specific purpose. That should be accurate. That should be relevant. That should not be kept longer than necessary. For example, if you have passed your exam, I should not be keeping it. Other than that, it should be secure and should not be transferring them. So these are some data protection laws that the governmental agencies have enforced upon these laws for the protection of individuals. This is mostly used for processing the data. There are some guidelines as well as how to stop data that might be processed unlawfully. First of all, you should never ever leave your personal information or confidential information lying anywhere on the desk or at your home. You should always lock your files and cabinets so that no one has access to that. You should never leave your computer turned locked on and you have all of your important information. You should always be locking that off. You should be using passwords and user IDs to keep your account secure, and you should make sure that anything sent in email or fax is not short. It shouldn't be of a sensitive nature because you are being exposed to the internet, and internet is a hub for viruses as well. Apart from this, we have 8.2.2, and this mostly refers to the use of your personal data. That what is your basically your personal data. Now, your personal data refers to any data that is concerned about yourself. Like, for example, what is your name? What is your email address? What is your IP address? What is your ID? What is your cookie ID? What is your date of birth? What are your banking details? So, all of the data that is concerned with only a living person or any entity or any individual, that is going to be considered as a personal data. Means there is an individual, so all of the data that is responsible for that, this is going to be your personal data, which is highly sensitive and confidential. Beta, cookie ID, whenever you are using your computer, there are files and stored into your computer named as cookies. These cookies add all of your important information, such as your username, such as your password, such as your internet tracking habits, such as your history, such as all of the data that you mostly visit too. So this cookie ID has all of your important information into that. But just in case if you give this ID to someone else, you are again at a risk of giving your personal information to someone else. So you should also be keeping your cookies and ID safe because they have all of your important credentials saved into that. You might have heard of it that you shouldn't be saving your ID and password whenever it pops up. Like if you want to save your ID and password, so this is the place where your IDs and passwords are stored. Yes, 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 definitely. Like a sensitive data. Like for example, your username, your passwords, they are definitely a sensitive data. Your photographs as well. They might could ask some examples of a sensitive data into your exam as well. So you should be writing that criminal records, medical history, biometric data, generic data, race, political views, religious beliefs, they should all be kept secure. Now the next part is e-safety, and e-safety mostly refers to your benefits, risks, and responsibilities associated whenever you are using your computer or ICT. E-safety is known as to be safe when you are using technology or when you are using an internet. You should be keeping yourself safe whenever you are using the internet, sending or receiving mails, taking part on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and online games. Okay, so when using the internet, we have to protect ourselves. How can we do that? First of all, whenever using the internet, we need to look for an HTTPS website. HTTPS stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secured. That means that your website is secured and it is from a trusted and authorized user. And it also shows you a symbol like this, a green sign, like a padlock sign. When using the internet, you should only purchase from websites that are encrypted or secured. And that means that they are only using HTTPS protocol. When using search engines, you should always have your safe search mode on. That means that it only displays the websites that are safe. You should only use websites that are recommended by your teachers or parents or from trusted source. You should also be careful about what you download. Is the material harmful or not? Could it be a malware or a virus as well? And you should always remember to log out of sites when you have finished them, like Facebook, Daras, or any other website. Even when using your emails, it is important that you should only open emails from trusted source, known source, authorized source. You should make sure that your internet service provider ISP has an effective email filtering so that you should not open emails from unknown sources or from your spam folders. You should only reply to an email you know. You should not reply them uselessly. You should also be checking the email addresses as well. Like from a company, email address is going to look like this at the rate at their company name like this. Shouldn't be from a person. You should also think carefully before replying to an email and never include your name or personal information. You should never send your picture to someone else on an email. You should also be aware of phishing and scams. You should protect your email account by using passwords. You should also take care when forwarding your emails as well. You should manually type emails. Do not type them because do not copy paste them because sometimes there might be errors and your email could be sent to someone else. You should also avoid clicking on hyperlinks. Hyperlinks are those on which I click them, they take you on another site. You should also remember to unsubscribe the link at the bottom of an email if that email is fraudulent or no longer useful to you. You avoid using the CC or two boxes when sending multiple emails. It is always a good idea so that you can create a group, and into that group you can send all of the emails at one place. How can you use social media? When using social media, it is also important that you should not be giving your personal information out, knowing your email address, your house addresses. You should not be sending your photos to someone else. You should make sure that your privacy settings are turned on. You should not post your addresses along with your photos. You should not add photos of yourself in school uniform. You should maintain privacy with those people who are not friends with you. You should avoid forwarding inappropriate messages and only be friends with the people whom you know. Your language should also be proper. You should not use slangs. You should also block or report any suspicious person you came across with. You should not enter private chat rooms. You should make sure that you are in public rooms. You should never arrange to meet for anyone and misuse people's image or their messages, and understand and always respects people's confidentiality. We have online gaming as well, and since the last years it has rapidly increased due to the advent of gamings. But however, there are some risks associated with the games as well, like people who pray, people who some risks that are associated with gaming are cyberbullying. Cyberbullying means that I'm bullying a person by sending him messages. Predators means that people who prey on others who they see are vulnerable. Like for example, in gaming, if someone is actually winning in a game, so you actually started to act like predators and you start finding their personal information so that later on you can bully them. Use of webcam is never ever allowed on gaming because this might give threats to you. Your voice masking technology, people might disguise their technology, and one of the source of cyber attacks is gaming as well because many of the games already include viruses, phishing, and spyware software as well, and the violence itself in the game, which leads to violent behavior as well. So these are some of the dangerous assumptions that are included in this. You should be preventing yourself from these. The last one is the 8.3, which is the security of the data. And certainly, while using the internet, I have some examples of data security. Like, first of all, I have phishing, hacking, phishing, smishing, farming, viruses, malware, and card frauds as well. So, let's discuss one by one each of them. First of all, I have hacking. Basically, hacking means gaining illegal or unauthorized access. Like, for example, if I gain an illegal or unauthorized access to someone's computer without their knowledge, so this is a concept of hacking. The reasons, the problems it can cause is that this can lead to Misuse of information, data could be deleted or corrupted. I can protect it by using firewalls, by using strong passwords, by using antivirus or anti-hacking softwares, or uses of ideal passwords. The second is that phishing. In what happens phishing, the user sends a original looking email to a target. Like you think like, oh, it's useful to. In phishing, what happens is that is a user sends an original looking email and you think like, oh, this email is useful for me. When you open that email, it sends you to a fake website where you are fooled to enter your personal information. That email basically looks like it is from a bank or from a trusted source, but it is not. Here you add all of your important details. So that's the case that how hackers gain access to your personal information. Your credit cards, account cards, this can lead to thefts and for frauds as well. How can I protect myself from this? Like uh, many ISP or web browsers filter out phishing emails as well. Users should be cautioned when opening emails and you should not click on everything that pops up. We can also discuss malicious here, and malicious usually refers to, for example, data deletion, fraud activity, identity theft, and selling your data. If malicious means that it is containing viruses, it could be a file, it could be email, it could be anything. One important thing is smishing. Smishing is short form for SMS phishing. Like in phishing, I was using an email, but similarly, if I use an SMS for phishing, that means sending an original looking SMS to someone to through whom I can get the important details such as credit card, debit card. So this is it. This is smishing. And wishing is also simple. That means that I'm using voice email. So when it comes to phishing, the concept is same that the user is sending an email, original looking email to get your important details. But if it is smishing means that I am using the SMS. If I'm saying that wishing, it means that voice mail phishing that I have sent a voicemail to someone and I track them to enter their information. Now, this is farming. Beta farming is when a malicious code, a virus code installed onto your computer or on a server. The code is going to redirect you to a fake website. The difference between phishing and farming is that in phishing, it sends you an email that takes you to a website. In farming, what happens that your malicious code installed on a computer without the user's knowledge that takes you to the fake website. Wishing wishing works like for example on WhatsApp, someone has sent you a voice note stating that congratulations, you have won $10,000 and to receive them click here. For example, you received a call you and they are stating that they are from a bank, they are supposing to be from the bank and they are asking your personal information. Wishing, another example is that for example someone called you and said and they try to ask your details stating that they are someone else. That's how it happens. Do you have any confusions? Just give me a minute. Azan ho jaye. Now, when it comes to farming means that there is a malicious code or a virus installed on a user's computer on a web server. As I told you, the difference सिर्फ ये है कि farming में malicious code install हो रहा है user के computer के ऊपर. Code is going to redirect you to a fake website. This is going to lead to gaining your personal information, debit card, credit card, and it can lead to frauds and identity theft as well. You can protect yourself by installing an anti-spyware software, and your user should be alert and should not be looking out for the clues that should not be redirecting them to the website. जैसे कि मैंने बताया कि you should always open website with the padlocks and with HTTPS. Now the next is viruses and malwares. You know it already that malwares are one of the biggest risks to your integrity and security of your data, and many some examples are viruses, ransomware, adware, keylogger, Trojan horse, and worms. So let me get it quick to you. Like right here, first of all, what are viruses? Viruses is any program that replicate itself, that copies itself. For example, you have heard about COVID virus. A COVID virus replicates itself, right? It when it comes to a computer virus as well, it replicates itself with the intention of deleting or corrupting the computer files. So they basically needs an active host program or an operating system that it can affect on. What are worms? Worms is an example of a standalone virus that replicates itself with the intention of spreading to other computers, and it is mostly used in your networks. What are Trojan horses? Trojan horses are malicious programs that are disguised as original looking software. They basically replace all parts of your original software. Like Trojan horses are like they look like if this is an original software. They replace all the parts of your original software with the intent of carrying some harm to your computer system. For example, you have a software and you think like this is your useful, but what it do is that it replaces itself with the viruses. So that's what it do. It happens in Trojan horses. The fourth one is the spyware, and as the name says, spyware. This basically gathers the information by monitoring. So what it do is that it spies on all of your activity, that in which websites you are going on, and at what websites you are visiting, and it sends the details back to the user. Adware. Adware is that it floods your computer with unwanted advertising. Like, congratulations, you have been that buy all of these packages, and this is basically in the form of the last one is the ransomware. In ransomware, what it do is that it encrypts all of your users pro compute all of your data into a specific file format. And to gain your data back again, they ask you for some ransom or from some money. So do you have any confusion in these examples? Adware is basically when your computer is flooded with unwanted advertising, basically in the forms of pop-up. You might have seen this like whenever I open a website, on the right or on the left of the website, you have some examples of advertising. Those advertising mostly refers to like congratulations, you have won this and all of the things. So it basically redirects the user to click on them. So when the user clicks on them, it takes you to a fake website. The fake website asks you for your important information, and if the users enter that, that means that now the hacker has all of your important information. So in adware, you should not be clicking on unwanted advertising that is on your website, on your search engine, or even on your computer as well. Any confusion? Encryption is there, where there can be certainly some concepts of card frauds as well. Like, for example, if your credit card or debit card is stolen, key logging softwares can gain access to that. Shoulder surfing. Shoulder surfing is a form of data theft where criminals steal your important information when they are using an ATM. So when you are using an ATM, you should make sure that no one is watching you, no one is listening to you, and no one is even standing right beside you. Some security you can overcome these ways by making sure that no one is standing right there, using ATM shields to protect your passwords. And if you are in a public place, you should not be opening your passwords and applications as well. Card cloning is again one of the example as well. And what it does is that it creates a copy of your credit card or debit card with a magnetic strip. Now, this is 8.3.2, which is the protection of data, and authentication of the data mostly refers to that your data comes from a secured and a trusted source. Some of the examples are biometrics, digital certificates, SSL, encryption, firewall. First of all, I have is the biometric authentication. This makes sure you have witnessed this in various examples of laptops, iPhone, or any other technology that mostly relies on biometrics so that they can authorize that if this is the person. Biometrics refers to your fingerprint scan, your signature scan, your retina scan, your face recognition, voice recognition, or your eyes scan. Fingerprint scan, you have seen this on airports, on even schools as well, that they are quite unique for every human, and they make sure that if this is the correct person or not. However, there can be certain disadvantages of that is that it is relatively expensive. If fingerprints are damaged, you cannot open the access to that. Face recognition is also used on airports as well to uh, recognize that if the person that is mentioned on your passport is the same person standing right here. What it do is that it scans your facial features like distance between the eyes, width of the nose, shape of the shape of your cheekbones as well. Like, there are some certain advantages and disadvantages of each system. First of all, if it is a fingerprint scan, it has a higher security, easy to use, most developed biometrics technique, relatively small storage. Disadvantage that for some people it is very intrusive because it is related to criminal identification as well. It can make mistakes if the skin is dirty. It is not always accurate. Signature recognition, low cost, requires little time to verify. However, disadvantages can be that some people can copy the signature as well, and signatures are not always same for each and everyone. Retina scan has higher accuracy. There is no way that they can replicate a person's pattern. Disadvantages include it is quite expensive and it is slow to scan it. Iris recognition is secured, but verification time is generally less than 5 seconds. Disadvantages can be takes a lot of memory, again expensive. Face recognition is an inexpensive technology, but disadvantages can be facial recognitions can be changed from time to time, or they can be affected by a person's age. And for example, if the person is wearing spectacles or using any other facial recognition, voice recognition, inexpensive, verification takes less time, but disadvantage that it has a lower accuracy. A person's illness, such as cold, can change the voice. A person's voice can be easily recorded for unauthorized access. Now I have digital certificates, SSL layers, and encryption. But